Welcome to Isn't It Obvious, where things are obvious. That's going to be the intro.
Welcome to Isn't It Obvious? I'm your host, Sera, and with me is Phil and Micah as per usual. Isn't It Obvious is a podcast where we state something that's obvious and we seek validation. We make a statement.
Where's the humor? Where's the humor?
I'm trying. I'm not very humorous. I'm sorry.
Great. Definitely painted as the asshole in this episode.
Well, that was...
I forgive you.
Wow. 30 seconds in.
I tried so hard. I tried so hard, you guys.
I thought the cold open was supposed to be funny. I'm trying!
Okay. I'm not even gonna... Okay, let's start.
Isn't it obvious that you should fucking call or text someone before coming over to their fucking house, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
It's an etiquette thing. You should tell people you're coming over. So when they're in their goddamn pajamas, because they're in their house, and it's a weekend and they're not going anywhere. Maybe.
I did not see this one coming. This is going to be an awkward 28 minutes.
You should, shoot a quick text saying, "Hey, Sarah, I'm going to come and drop off something. You home?"
I used to think that would be the right thing to do, kind of give people a heads up. But then I felt like and this is a serious thought that came through because, hey, look, Parker has a Valentine's card for Merlin and Maeve.
And it was adorable. And it's on my fridge right now.
And you need to drop this off to Sera. And so I was like, okay. And so you bundle the kid up, and you're like, my phone's already somewhere. And I was like, shoot, should I just text Sera before I go there?
I could have been painting my nails.
But it was like, but walking from there to here takes 15, maybe 30 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I don't want to fish out my phone
to send a text.
To send a text. By the time I'm there, it's like
give me a 2-minute heads up.
No, but
so I can put some fucking pants on.
There is an absolute ideal nostalgia of living in a neighborhood and being able to go to a neighbor and just be like, "Hey," and then do whatever you need to do.
Right.
That is a great ideal neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I understand.
But maybe most people get up and get dressed and start their day. But on the weekends, I just don't.
Look, I have a 3-piece suit with a cummerbund.
I feel like
just on the weekends.
I feel like this is a double fault case. So what happened is last time I did this is not the first time. I think I do this.
This is true.
I do this every time. Really, I never.
Your case is not getting stronger with you saying the second time this happened.
Well, right. Well, I understand that. Moving forward, I was returning a rake, and again, it was, hey, you gotta return this rake, and also thank Sera for the rake. Okay, so grab the kid, walk the 15 steps it takes to get here, hand her over the rake.
You didn't even do that. You rang my doorbell, and I'm like, I don't know who this is, so I'm just going to ignore it because I'm painting my nails and I'm in my PJs, so I don't really want to answer the door. And of course, a couple seconds later, I get a phone call, and I'm like, oh, it's fucking Phil. Right. That's who's at my door.
Well, the thing is, Parker is like, oh,
taking this opportunity to really just...
Where's neighbor Sera and all this other stuff? It's like, oh, well, people are busy. That's fine. So, drop this stuff off.
I felt bad, but I was incapable of coming to the door. I was literally I couldn't get dressed. I couldn't even put pants on. My nails were wet. It wasn't happening. I could barely answer the phone.
So the time before that, so that was actually...
So this is time 2 or is this time 1?
This is 3 now.
3?
Yes.
Yep.
Phil, your case is real bad at this point.
Grab kid.
1 strike, okay. 2 strikes, there's something wrong with you. 3 strikes, definitely on you.
This is why this is why I'm doing it. I am laying it on you, and I am telling the world as well.
Grab kid.
You wait for the next episode. Let me tell you what the times have to drive you.
And
we can talk about that.
I would be more than happy to change this conversation to something else.
Anyway,
it's on you to derail it. I'm on board with Sera.
Okay. Well,
you have some questions to answer, Phil.
The fact that you were able to unite Micah to your cause not looking good for me. So the third time was when I had Parker, got him the outfit, and then went over here. He answered the door. I believe we're handing you off a Christmas card or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, hey, you. And I'm like, yeah, here, whatever. Here's the card. Thank you. And It's like, oh, okay, bye, and you shut the door.
Oh, that's a little rude. Okay.
No,
No.
you're very gracious about it. And then on our way back, Parker said, "Why can't I wear pajamas on the weekend at noon?" And I had
All right. I'm sorry, Phil. You're getting a little bit more there. That's a tough conversation to have with a child.
It is, and every once in a while, we're like, "Okay, Parker, come on, get out of your pajamas. We gotta start the day." And he's like, "But neighbor Sera doesn't." And I'm like, I don't even know
when you're 37, you can do whatever you want too.
I said, I'm not 37. Excuse you.
You're 68.
I'm like 200.
And anyway,
be more respectful of your elders.
I did think about that. Like, man, I really should be.
You should give me like at least 2 minutes heads up.
But
I would even venture on like the 15-minute.
Make sure I'm there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Hey, we're gonna drop something off. You home.
That's the thing is that sometimes we go to other neighbors. We don't do that.
I always text you guys before I come over. I'm not gonna walk the 15 seconds over.
That is
how
true.
big are your guys' steps? That's 15 seconds.
It's not that far. It probably
It's not 15 seconds.
It's 15 seconds.
After we're done recording, I will time you.
In the cold.
It's too cold.
It's 15 seconds in cold. It's about a minute in the nice
I'll
day.
take one step outside and I'll turn back around because it's just cold.
With a hiss.
Yeah.
I do.
I hate stepping outside on the weekends.
I don't know. I know it's an etiquette, but it's an etiquette thing that didn't exist when I was a kid. You just ring the doorbell. If there's no one there, go. If there is someone there, they answer.
I feel like most people back in the day people had families because they could afford them. So people would get up and get dressed and start their day.
It's also
and, have things to do on the weekend. And
that random.
I'm not that person. If I don't have anything to do, I'm just gonna hang out in my blanket and slippers all day, and it's awesome. That's a lie.
I just don't like that. Okay, in my head, I know if I had to go stop by somebody else and I had to get in the car, right? I normally ping on my ETA, whatever my Waze tells me how long I'm going to get there. That makes sense because I'm always running late and they're probably already expecting me by now. And they know me, so they already know that the timeline is already screwed up. But
that's the whole point.
The idea, though, of in this immediate vicinity neighborhood, the safe zone of where I don't have to worry about grabbing my phone and then sending messages to be like, hey, I'll be there in 30 seconds. Are you ready?
But,
this is just no, I'm
is
just
that not you showing more respect by having that close proximity and double checking in that situation as opposed to the person you're visiting that has a built-in time constraint of travel? You're 15 minutes away, I will let you know when to expect me, as opposed to you're a minute away, I'm just going to take advantage of we're a minute away and not send a text. But I think it shows more respect when you're a minute away and be like, can you receive me?
Yeah, that's true. And I think the problem is when you're in a car, I have a little phone dock and you just type it in. This is easy to do and you start the car and you go. But when you're on foot, by the time you're oh, let me fish my phone out, it's I'm already there.
House. Before you even leave your house, you should be like,
before you bundle up your kid.
Yeah.
That should be your time constraint.
Before you make the commitment to come over, you should
before you tell your child to put on 37 layers to survive our northern winters.
I can't put my arms down.
See,
you just have to be let me make sure that what's going to happen will happen how I expect it to happen. Communication.
I mean, if you're not...
Text, Phil. Just fucking text.
I mean, I'm fucking shameless, so, I don't care if you see me in my PJs, but if you want to set a good example for your children...
I had that expectation that...
I was pretty much unshowered. It was pretty gross, so I apologize, but, I heard you out there, and I'm like, fuck, it's Phil. I can't just not answer the door this time.
I do agree that it's kind of an asshole move on my end, but there is no exceptions. I have no excuse.
But it's not the straight asshole, it's the presumptuous asshole. That what I want will happen without any interaction with the other party.
No, it's true. What would happen is, the if-then is, if door is not open, then I just turn around and walk home.
Yeah, but I feel bad that you came all the way over.
And you bring your kids, that's a different thing, where you're now posing this expectation on your kids that they'll see their neighbor.
No,
and maybe their cats. I would have invited you in if I was dressed.
No.
Tea.
Oh,
I really would have made tea.
It could have been a nice hour, 90-minute exchange between neighbors.
And my cats would have had
It can't go lower, Phil. This can't go lower.
God. So for those who don't understand that reference. Micah,
They don't need to know that.
Okay. Well, here
There's a weighing scale.
I actually
over
think
here.
that you guys are convincing. Like, I had a different argument, but at the end of the day, this is all starting to make sense because when I come back, like, you're back already? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, I said, that come back in like 30 minutes because I need your help on something else, but you're already back? And I'm like, yep.
I would have absolutely invited you in if I were dressed and ready to receive a guest.
And so she's like, why are you back?
You need to text me, Phil.
And then she's like, was Sera there? And I was like, sometimes, like, oh, no, she wasn't. Oh, yeah, she was there. And she's like,
Well, now she's going to know.
yeah, she's like, okay, she's like, but Sera was there and you're... And she's like, why? Oh, okay,
Because...
I think she's assuming that I'm texting you. I was like,
She's assuming the correct path
Right.
you should take.
Because the only order the
Here you
editor
go.
gives me is this. Hey,
Oh.
drop off the Valentine's Day card. Assumed things that you would do as a normal human being is text before you get there to make sure that she's able to receive Valentine's Day card. Like, no, I'm just going to Kramer my way in.
Here's
Nope,
the thing.
I'm in my
You-
PJs. Thanks. Bye.
You're playing life like old RPG, but the world is a new RPG where there are different things you have to do to get the best outcome for your mission.
You know those
Bonus
people who
points
still
for
wear
texting.
suspenders and they're out in public
Uh-huh.
and they're a fairly old gentleman. And I'm like, wow, you're
We're like a
fashion.
22-year-old hipster.
Well,
Like 28-year-old hipster now. We're old.
20, to be in my 20s.
To
No.
be in my 20s.
The idea that
I
I
don't know what you
have
guys are talking about.
is that I'm like, wow, can't you change with the
The times.
times, the fashion, the seasons? And the answer is like, no, screw you. I'm going to wear the thing that was cool in my time, and you guys just
Yeah,
have to deal
screw
with
you.
it.
I'm going to wear
That is
PJs all
why-
weekend.
35-year-olds are going into the office with Jnco Jeans.
No one's doing that
No one.
Oh my god, so we learn and change with the times and adapt to what we have, Phil.
when it makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good argument, Micah. You really. I was like, wait a minute. This is an opening. This is a trap. And then like it was a trap, and I entered it.
Oh, I fly fished that thing.
Yeah, that was good. All right. I do pine for the old days of just ringing a doorbell, but I think that...
I mean, I started this with that type of neighborhood environment. Seems so idyllic.
It does.
But that takes work, and that takes familiarity of a
Takes
near
fucking
intimate
block
nature.
Parties.
Well, no,
It's not even block parties, but it's this house has a kid in the same age range as my kid, and we've talked and we've shared what our schedule is, and there are these times that we know, and I know when they're busy, and blah, 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 blah. And there's not the X factor of someone who doesn't have these responsibilities that makes their schedule really standard.
I think that the modern times of someone that just wants to ring a doorbell and have a conversation and that type of stuff just doesn't exist.
No, it does. You just have to be more.
Oof. I have a terrible...
Have you heard the glories about Jesus Christ?
I was actually shoveling the snow, and there was these two people that came up to me and said that I needed, like, hey, sir, do you need any help? And I was like, no, I'm not needing of your services at this moment. I can shovel this small little bit of snow.
And then he looked at you and went, all right, and then
You
walked away.
always accept help when someone offers to help you shovel.
Absolutely.
Always.
And you always offer.
Yes, always. What
Yeah.
kind of Minnesotan are you?
Yeah, there was a time where...
Get out of my
Are
Are
house.
you guys
Snow
messing
emergency
with
happened.
me, or...
No, there was a time when I could only park on the street, and a snow emergency happened on a main thoroughfare that was going to be plowed immediately at 5 a.m. At 4:30, I was out there, car running. I'm starting to dig out my car because it's like 8 inches of snow overnight. And a dude in front of me was starting to pull out, and he started skidding, so I went out, scooped out his path. He went up and around, and then I got in my car because I dug myself out, and I started to spin out. He came around the corner and started pushing me
Oh
out.
my god.
Yep.
And then we went over the edge.
What?
And we shared like a mental high five, not a physical high five, but we looked at each other, and both in our brains were like, wow. And then we're like, all right. And then walked like back and went on with our day.
So-
and just that's what you do.
It's a little different because we have garages, so we don't have this issue. But like,
Spoiled.
if you're in the city and you do have to park on the street, or if you're in an apartment and you just are,
Oh, I couldn't
the
imagine
only-
living in
there's-
uptown. Having a car in uptown
Yeah.
seems like the dumbest idea.
So one of my coworkers parks on the street because she lives in a house with a bunch of other people her age, whatever. And so she's always out shoveling out her car. And every time there's a big snowstorm or something, and the plows come through, everyone's cars are like buried in snow. So it's always like 10 people are out shoveling everyone's cars out every time that happens.
Wow, I was 0 for 2. Like, I was really thinking, like, I'm not really an asshole, am I? And now I'm like, maybe
No, it's not so much of an asshole.
Dude,
It's
next door neighbor who is, I don't know, 60 or 70. She's in her 60s.
might as well be 90.
She's like this sweet old woman, and it was last year during a bad snowstorm, and I just got home and I couldn't get up my driveway because it was just slightly slick or whatever. And I'm like, I guess I got a shovel. So I'm out there shoveling, and I'm like, I'm not expecting any help because, like, I'll get up there eventually. It's not a big deal, whatever. It'll just take me long. But she just came right out and pushed, and she's this old woman, and I'm like,
Sandy,
good lord.
who has a dog.
Yeah.
She walks.
So cute.
I know. Yeah. Here's the thing that's in my brain that is hard to wrap around. One is I've been here forever and I still don't understand Minnesota etiquette because I think it's just someone says, "Hey, do you need help?" My answer is no. I don't want you to be next to me. Get out of here.
Here's what you're missing. You don't want to be asked. You always want to offer, and
Right.
then you'll get it in return.
Right.
That's Minnesota.
And that's all. That's all. That's Minnesota nice right there.
Right.
Apart from asking directions to your home,
Yeah.
you always offer assistance to everyone.
Yeah, I'm fine with getting first strike advantage, but someone doing that to me is like, God damn it. No.
Right, you already lost. And here's the thing: you have to say yes in that situation.
Right.
You
Yeah,
have
the
to.
nice thing to do is to say yes because you're
No,
just...
it's not the nice thing. It's a Minnesotan thing.
Yeah, you
see,
have
I
to
always
say
think,
yes.
okay, here's the thing too. Oh my God. I'm just realizing, like, this is like an intervention. It's like, well, Phil, you actually are an asshole. It's like, no,
You're
I'm
not an
not.
asshole. You just are
Everyone,
Phil,
uncultured and
I have-
uncivilized.
You're in a safe space.
there are people who
There's
care
nothing
about you.
safe about
Now,
this.
why doesn't
Prepare to
there's
take-
nothing safe about you.
Prepare to take your punishment.
Sarah, why are you sharpening your knives? Oh, I got some etiquette things
Those are
for
her
you.
nails.
There was this one time where I wanted to do a feat of strength. This is my last one. I'm done. And she had her car, and I was like, I think I can push this. And she's like, you can't. And I was like, no, I think I can. And I couldn't. And I tried for like a minute. And a car zoomed by, screeched, got out, like, hey, you need help. And I was like, oh, no, I'm actually just kind of joking around. And the guy's face was, what? Are you kidding? Like, you're joking around about this? So I don't really need your, I'm just trying to, it's just I'm just trying to push a car because I'm trying to impress my, he was like, whatever, man,
Dude, man.
whatever. And then he just gets in his car. It's like,
He was trying
3
to be a
hours later,
nice
you
person.
finally push the car out.
yeah, I mean, the thing in my brain was like, what just happened? What is going on here? This is like day 2 in this neighborhood, by the way. And that was
Minnesota is filled with Clark Kents, but no Superman. So we're all filled with nice people that just want to help, but no one is going to go like
And it's-
above their station and be the sole person to do it.
okay.
There's no one guy going around in some like F-150 like, you need help, bruh. You need help, bruh.
But there's something weird
What's
about
collective help?
Yeah, there's something weird about, like, if you present this situation, it's like a trigger. If this, then that. If you need help, like, shoveling the snow, then I will politely ask, do you need help? It's like, it's strange because if I ask someone, hey, can you help me shovel without shoveling first, they would be like, go fuck yourself. But the act of me doing this now is sort of like a weird ritual where they...
Now here's an interesting thing. Sorry, I don't mean to I was just thinking about shoveling and stuff, and I'm just reminded of one of our other neighbors who's impossible to deal with. She complains that no one helps her shovel. She's out there shovel. She doesn't even have to shovel because we have plows,
Right.
who come in and
Yeah, right.
plow out our driveways.
Yeah.
So like no one really has to help them shovel an entire driveway unless... Anyway, she's like, she has the expectation of getting help, which is worse, I think, than just getting out and, doing it yourself.
So I guess
and then not getting help.
Oof.
In the trifold, you're in the second position because you always want to offer help.
Yeah.
But then you always want to accept help, but you never want to expect help.
Yeah, you never want to expect. Yes, you
yeah.
can ask for it.
You can ask, and ask falls in that second thing.
Yeah, but you have to actually go ask.
Yep.
You can't just expect. F that attitude.
Well,
that's
Well, it's
entitlement.
like I have jumper cables in my back because one time when I was 19, I was at a gas station and somebody's battery died. I was like, aha! And then I jumped their battery.
Who
I
doesn't
was
have
like-
jumper cables?
I don't have
People from Wisconsin.
I mean, there was a long time I didn't have jumper cables until I needed it, and then I had jumper cables. So yeah.
I have jumper cables and a shovel in my trunk, and that's the only thing.
I should get a
Oh
shovel.
no, and
That's
snow
what I
boots.
need.
I have snow boots.
Yeah.
Snow boots, a shovel, and jumper cables.
I really should get a shovel. Just a small one.
Well, they have like extendable ones
Yeah,
that actually
yeah,
fit
I've
very
seen
nicely.
those.
Not the greatest strength.
No,
so
but
if you're like frozen in by 4 days,
Yeah,
not
you're-
great. But if it's like fresh powder, it's butter.
Anyway, Phil.
Okay, so you're calling me out that I'm an
You're not the
asshole.
worst.
No.
You don't expect help, but you are not great because
So I'm like
your etiquette-
a D plus.
you're
etiquette?
You're a
C.
C. Solid C.
No,
Solid
Not
no,
even C plus.
no. Solid C
You're
would
not-
mean that you wouldn't bring it up.
No, C is average. That's
C is average.
C
So
was
you
met.
In our marriage...
I
Sorry.
expect B at least.
No.
You are
Phil.
Your expectations are.
In our collective high school education time frame, a C is unacceptable.
C was failure for me.
Yep, absolutely. B was failure.
I mean, B
My high
was-
standards in a shitty school.
Oh
so.
yeah, no.
B
I mean,
was
If you had a B,
failure.
it was okay. If you had a C, like, there was concern.
yeah.
Because the school systems were so bad.
No, my dad.
So here's the thing.
And, yeah.
You're a C. You're not a C plus, but you're not a C minus. You are the middle of the road. And you gotta improve, buddy.
No,
Here's the thing.
no.
You're real close
No.
to slipping to a C minus, and a C minus is basically
No.
an F.
So okay, here
B
I
would just be shooting me
I
a
gotta-
text, man.
I gotta dispel a few things
That
here.
might be B+.
One is that
5 minutes? Give me 5 minutes. B.
15.
Solid B.
Half hour, maybe?
15 would
Just
be a B+.
confirm time frame.
15 minutes would be a B+.
I have organized things. Like tomorrow, I have a thing that I'll go to at 3, and that's my plan. But it starts at 1. At about 2:15, I'll be like, "Can I show up at 3?" And I have a 10-minute drive there, so that's 40 minutes that they are expecting my arrival in something that's already going on that I could just show up to. But being a Minnesotan, I'm going to give them over a half an hour of being like, "You're going to have to deal with my personality. Sorry, Mom."
this.
That's her fault.
My thought is that, like, when I say A, B, C as a joke of tier levels, I keep forgetting that our collective childhoods are so strange because I hear exactly what you're saying. Like, A was acceptable and B is bad.
A was expected, B was acceptable, C is failure.
Yeah.
The way that my
Same.
I was gonna say my parents and my dad in particular is described as A is equal to acceptable, B is equal to bad, and C is equal to crap.
Yeah,
Like,
because
you can't go any further
he
down.
watched
If you
Glengarry
go-
Glen Ross and was like, "Always be closing."
D.
ABCs.
No, D, you're a disappointment. And F, you're just
And F, you're not my son
fuck
anymore.
you,
right.
get out. That's that.
And
I remember when I got an F and my dad laughed it off. And that broke so many... it was a
Oh.
poetry class in community college that I just stopped going to, like, the day after
Oh,
I couldn't
well.
drop out from it. And I went and tried to drop out, and they're like, "Nope, you can't do that." But it was, like, after 12 credits, all credits beyond that were free.
right,
So, like, I wasn't paying for it,
right,
but it was still a class I was getting graded on.
yeah.
And that still didn't drop me below a 3.0 GPA.
I was
And
gonna.
he just looked at that and was like, "Huh, that was a close call." And then went on, I'm like, "Oh, you don't really fucking care about that."
yeah.
It's
Shit,
just
I need
you.
to rethink all of education that I've had for the last
No,
15 years.
no. I would. That's what I'm talking about. Like at a university level.
No, this is community college. That's basically what high school should be. University level, I had a TA that was like, "I'm in grad school, so if you don't get an A, you're failing." And I'm like, I don't want to go to grad school because that's way too much.
Yeah, that's true. I would argue that if I talk about the A to F tier levels right now, it's C is where no one gives a shit. Like no one's gonna call you on it. You're just middle of the road. You're just
Now C minus is
I think
C
that's
minus
B.
is when people are gonna be like, "Hey man,
is what you're.
I'm your friend and I want you to know that this is." And then D is when people are like, "You're clearly like slipping."
D,
No,
D
I'm
is a
like-
red flag, but like
C
C
is-
is a yellow flag.
C is like, hey,
Wow,
I'm
yeah.
concerned you aren't aware of this.
No. Wow.
C
Wow.
is like, I'm concerned. Yeah, C is.
C's that after school special where it's like, "Hey there, Billy.
No, this
Let me tell you, if you tried at all, you'll be fine."
Literally at all.
what? Wait, you guys are still? Are you saying it's like still the A is acceptable, B is bad?
No. A is expected, B is acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, if you get an A, that's great. If you get a B,
A,
that's
you're
what you
doing-
should be aiming for. If you get a C,
No,
try
no.
harder.
A is what you should be aiming for. B is, you know what? You tried. It's good. There's nothing wrong.
Well, a
with
B
what you
average
did.
keeps you above a 3.0.
Yeah, no.
A
That's what I'm
3.0
saying.
is like
B is,
the bar between good and bad.
B is fine, and there's nothing
True.
to call you out on. Like, you did the bare minimum. That's what B is. Bare minimum.
Yeah.
A is what you're aiming for. B is bare
Wow.
minimum.
That's why
C is,
We need to stop
I'm
this.
concerned.
We need to stop this alphabetic thing, and we should just go with percentage.
You're-
Because if you think about it, if you have, in any situation, an over 80% chance to hit a thing, that's a real solid percentage. like 4 out of 5 times, I'm gonna hit whatever I'm aiming
that's
for.
really good.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
But if you drop that down by 5 points, and you're at 75, which is what a C would be.
It's not bad.
It's like
3 out of 4?
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
not
three
offending
out
me,
of
and I'm not
4.
upset with you,
But like, you could do a little bit better than 75%.
I can get you to a B.
Yeah,
If I just
but
say something.
But if you're hitting like 60%, you're like, come on, guy, you can do better than that.
Look, I'm just going to say this flat out. 75% is a sweet spot, and 50% is acceptable.
No,
Okay,
like,
the worst
50
I've ever,
is
the worst grade
average.
I've ever
Only in
gotten was
baseball is 50% acceptable.
That's
Actually,
acceptable
no, that's
for me.
exceptional. In
Yeah.
basketball, 50% is acceptable.
Right.
You hit 1 out of every 2 baskets.
That's pretty
with
good.
no goalie. But that's a sports analogy, and it's not dealing with education. Anyway,
No,
50% is such a low bar.
No, it's exactly average. This
that is not
is
exactly
the-
average.
This is the histogram, straight in the middle normalization, right smack in the middle.
That's what 70 is.
50% is a fail.
That's the old school scale.
No,
Like, the new
that's
modern
what it should
scale
be.
is that, hey,
You should
50
absolutely...
is good. 50 is not
No.
bad.
To be a productive member of society, you need
If-
to be right more than half the time.
No,
You
it's
can,
way
you can
better.
gamble on 50-50, but you shouldn't make your life decisions, important decisions, on a 50.
No, not.
Do you want a coin? I have some coins.
And etiquette's not something you should take chances with. Etiquette is actually really important.
I've been living my whole life on 50-50, and that me being
What?
charitable.
You've been rolling on black and red your entire life in
This
a roulette wheel,
the first time
regardless of the greens.
I've ever publicly said it. And
You had your wife and like your other girlfriend at the time be like, I'm rolling with one. That's what I'm singing with.
and
I don't
that's
think that's...
and that's C. I'm not even gonna comment here thing. C is me being charitable about like, hey, maybe I should contribute to society. That's me going at C level when I could. That's me
No, that's
meeting half.
society.
No.
That's
yeah,
society.
Societal's
Who
a
gives a
different
Yeah,
rating.
who fucking gives a shit
Okay,
about society?
as a
I'm
human
talking about
being-
the people you care about.
If for the people I care about,
They deserve more than a fucking 50-50.
People
yeah,
within
right.
walking
People I
distance
care
deserve
about,
more than 10 minutes away.
people I care about should be at an A level. That's what it should be. The people that I don't care about can go fuck themselves. And I
People you have to
decided
deal with.
the
get
people I have to
B.
deal with is at an
No, here's
F
the thing, like-
level.
No.
No,
The
no,
people
no.
you have to deal with should be B. The
No.
people
Wow.
like
That's even a
coworkers.
good one. Coworkers should be a C. Coworkers are your baseline.
Wow.
How you interact with coworkers should be the middle amount
I
of
would say B.
acceptableness
I
that
would
you
say B
look.
minus.
to
C
bosses.
plus.
Bosses B. Coworkers C.
No, oh,
I-
jeez.
no.
No,
Uh-uh.
no,
No.
no.
Like a D with your bosses.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's
They are,
A plus,
no,
dude.
You want with your coworkers, if you're good to them and they're good to you and there's rapport there, they're gonna have your back. But no, like you fucking have your coworkers back because they're gonna
That's
Yes,
not
so-
fair. You're playing a different strategy of let's be
But you're
good to
also
each
from a
other
source of authority too.
and let's have each other's back. That's one tactic. The other one is sheer ruthless backstabbing, and that's also a valid tactic. And so you can't just say, look, you have to have them at a B level or A because we're all in it together and it's really good to have allies. That's fine if you're playing those cards if you happen to have that deck. But if you happen to have a bad deck or a different deck, you don't spend any more energy than is necessary to meet your objectives.
that's fair enough.
And if backstabbing is least energy most game, then you're just a terrible fucking person because you should at least put a C on there. The system makes you want to say, look, I'm going to treat these people below F. This is below 50 percentile, worse than that. But you have dignity and you want to treat them at least at a C
like
level.
they're human.
Like they're human. C level. And that's me meeting them halfway because really I should be treating them at a 50% level.
Human, like the random human people I meet at like the store get a C level from me. That's
You-
common courtesy.
What?
That is C level,
Okay.
right?
Before we deteriorate into a future debate, let's wrap it back around. And Phil, text Sera when you're coming over.
Please.
Thank you. And catch us next time on Isn't It Obvious?
I'd like to thank my mom for not teaching me etiquette. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.